Heading up to the Atlantis exhibit now. We will record the intro video. Hopefully no one is using their cell phones, and better have them muted. So heading up there now.
Endeavour Houston, we see a nominal MECO, ohms 1 not required. Welcome to space. People watching you. Looks like you're having a lot of fun up there. Oh, it's really beautiful out here. Go for deploy. We have a go for deploy. Houston Atlantis. Shuttle has arrived on board Atlantis. Beyond. Go for our release. Atlantis Houston, we copy. Nice job. We will travel the very best. It is a unlock. Further mysteries of the universe.
Endeavour Houston on the big loop. We're following you in docking max power up, and you have a go for docking.
Endeavour copy on the big loop. Go for docking.
Atlantis. Welcome home.
We're back for the Atlantis exhibit. Mind me having a few tears in my eye. It's such a beautiful entry into something that I've just dreamed of seeing my whole entire life, and now I get a second chance to see it here in the exhibit and actually take the time to go through it and actually see the orbiter Atlantis here hanging from the ceiling as if it were in orbit. Really, this camera makes a difference in everything. The Pocket 2 is just so noisy, and now with this, the Pocket 3, it just does so much better. All right, this is the original prototype. April 1st, 1969, Dr. Max Faget tossed this model toward his team of engineers. These engineers worked hard at trying to land a man on the moon, but they were also began creating a revolutionary vehicle for NASA called the Space Shuttle. Dr. Pangent was the Director of Engineering and Development at NASA. Here's all the tiles from the shuttle. But you can see this is the front of Atlantis. Here is the crew entry door. This is where the crew would come through to the white room, from the white room that we walked through earlier. These are the part of the thrusters on the top, part of the nose of the shuttle. And of course, up here, the crew compartment, the cabin, when they had a launch. Space Shuttle Atlantis. In front of you is Atlantis, NASA's fourth flown space shuttle, just as she appeared when she landed on her last mission, STS-135. Was in service for 26 years and flew, sorry, this is, I don't know why this is doing this, and she flew as a spacecraft and landed as a glider. They can leave as a space shuttle in a little word, but with every smudge, each mark, and everything tells a story. This is when she was rolled out, and then looking at everything upside down. You can see dirt around the hatch from the 26 years. See all the dirt that's on the hatch of Atlantis. This hatch is how astronauts and ground crews entered and exited the space shuttle. Locating stars with these star trackers helped crews navigate in space. Those are at the front end of it. Space geek facts, something like for me. One of the biggest surprises for people who see an orbiter up close for the first time is the highly specialized thermal blankets. Most of these blankets save time, money, and most importantly, weight. So there's our cargo bay door open. That's the hatch. This is the crew manipulator arm designed in Canada. The cargo bay was huge. They could fit a lot of cargo inside of this. They put satellites in orbit, and toward the end of the orbiter's lifespan, they brought up and assembled parts of the International Space Station. Here's the tail end of the space shuttle. We're going to call it the orbiter from now on because that's what it actually was known for. And just looking down on it. There's 3 space shuttles remaining. There are 3 orbiters remaining. Discovery is in Washington at the Dulles Airport. Actually, technically, there's 4. Enterprise, that's in New York City on the Intrepid. That's the test landing vehicle. And then Discovery is in Washington, as I said before, and Endeavour is at the California Space Science Center in and around Los Angeles. All 3 of these orbiters were are now used as museum pieces. Here's the shuttle's 3 main engines and the OMS system looking right behind us, and the tail fin or rudder for guidance when it was coming down to land. You can definitely tell I'm a space. A little bit more Space Shuttle Atlantis, the power behind it. 3 types of engines were used in the space shuttle. These engines allowed Atlantis to launch as a rocket and fly as a spacecraft. They were only used for the first 8.5 minutes, and they launched the space shuttle into orbit. Orbital Maneuvering System, OMS. That's these back here. They allowed the space shuttle to fly as a spacecraft. The pits and the tiles in the back of Atlantis are damaged from the launch pad debris of 33 launches. Look at the damage here between the main engines on the shuttle. It just is so awesome. The Delta wings landed the space shuttle like a glider. So these engines are now used on SLS. After observing the launch of it, you could see that parts of the shuttle, SLS is like a Franken rocket. It's reused parts of the shuttle orbiter program that are built into the new SLS rocket. Now, we're not going to go into the space station mock-up because that's for children. We'll probably bring Sam here one day. Sam is my daughter. She is not born. She's due in February. So, look at the bottom of the shuttle. It's covered in thermal tiles, and these tiles consistently fell off. They were basically glued into place. They didn't do, I mean, they did a decent job of protecting it, but it was ultimately the foam from the external tank that doomed Columbia when it crashed. So not the best ending and best design. The other problem with the shuttle is that it was affixed to the side of the external tank and the 2 solid rocket boosters, as you can see in this photo. That problem when you're next to a rocket, not on top of it, that's an issue. So another look at the RS-25 engine. Again, this RS-25 engine is now on the SLS rocket going to the moon. Let's take a closer look at it. And these have quite a bit of power. I believe the SLS has 4 of them. We're gonna go take a detailed look at Gateway on the way out of here, and then we'll hit up the gift shop on the way out. But you can see these are, here's my hand. I mean, this is not pure perspective. Listen to me talk through this. It's like I'm talking through a microphone and an echo. Very cool. You can actually hear what I'm saying. But this is exciting. Let's go up and take a look at some of the other exhibits. Some artifacts from people. This is an actual toilet used in space. All right, we need to speed it up because we're running out of time. Some interior views of the shuttle. We got this last time.
Naqueles que a gente viu lá no outro prédio. Esse aqui são shutters.
Different simulators. And that's the problem, is you can't do this all in one day when you're here. I'm going to get down to the Space Launch Complex downstairs. This is a full-scale mock-up of the Hubble Space Telescope. Absolutely enormous. I never thought in seeing this that it was this big, because it looks small when it's on the camera, but that's a full-scale mock-up of it. Looking down to the lower level, but we really need to get to the Pardon me. SLS. We're going down toward the space slide. Unfortunately, due to time constraints, we're not going to do it. We did it last time and we have video of it. But this is a slide simulating, you can see it down here. This is a slide simulating re-entry when the shuttle comes back. Really need to get down to the lower level. Pretty neat light up hallway walking down toward re-entry. So you can see the shuttle's red hot from the thermal tiles and coming back down. Welcome home, as they say. Some different exhibits of the International Space Station. How do astronauts go to the toilet? Well, want to try going to the bathroom in space? There you go. Forget it. I'm not having a thing strapped to my noodle and sucking my urine up. Hello? This is how you sleep in space. And as Greg said before, it's like a coffin, and he was not kidding. What do astronauts eat? This is how you dine in space. This is the Remembrance Gallery for Columbia and Challenger. So we see Krista McAuliffe's memoirs over here. We're doing this very quickly because we're running out of time here. Got about an hour and a half before the Space Center closes. But here is the piece of Challenger, left side body panel, and the cockpit windows of Columbia. Each a separate accident. God rest their souls. I'm not going to talk about too much of what happened out of respect for these astronauts, but you can see pretty sad. It's the test damage from the external tank when the piece of foam hit the underside of Columbia. This is an astronaut's flight suit. Bob Crippen, one of the first astronauts on the space shuttle. External fuel tank. This, I believe, is the cargo bay from Columbia, if I'm correct. That's the internal hatch. Space shuttle tunnel adapter and truss assembly. Truss assembly, place the shuttle in the space shuttle on specific missions with an external airlock as a contingency to give astronauts access to the payload bay in case they needed to close the doors manually. That's like an airlock. Pretty neat. This is the Astrovan that brought astronauts to the launch pad. Here's the door and the front of the Astrovan. Now they have a new system that brings people.